animals have made their way inside a North Georgia school.
Good evening, I'm Russ Spencer.
And I'm Lisa Ram. We have some breaking news to tell you about from the city of Atlanta, where authorities now say alcohol played a role in the fatal crash of a city garbage truck.
A passenger in that garbage truck was thrown from the vehicle. The driver hurt badly and in the hospital tonight. Fox 5's Morse Diggs joins us now with late breaking details. Morse?
Indeed, the developments are rapid fire, even since the story we're about to show you, even since we filed that story. Word now from the mayor's spokesperson, Carlos Campos, confirms what our sources have been telling us, that alcohol was allegedly involved. A garbage truck so badly mangled that the wreckage cut in half. The signature sign showing the vehicle belongs to the city of Atlanta is upside down in the picture because the truck flipped multiple times. And now authorities are briefing city officials about some potentially disturbing information which they suspect may have played a role.
What I've been made aware of is the potential for alcohol to have been involved in the accident.
A passenger was ejected from the garbage truck. He was killed. A driver is fighting for his life in the hospital. Something inappropriate was found in the cab. Is that?
Yeah, that's the indication that I have received, that potentially it was perhaps an open container.
The director of Mothers Against Drunk Driving says if it is ultimately shown that alcohol played a role in the weekend fatal crash, maybe other employees will get the message.
That MAD has programs in place that we can take to any company, public or private, to talk to its employees about the dangers of drinking and driving and how you can prevent that from happening. And we would be more than happy to work with the city. Well, all too often it is the case that there's tragedy that sparks a change.
But this is a very, very serious issue that not only affects the individual, but potentially it could affect any member of the public that happens to be sharing the road or the sidewalk.
The Atlanta City Attorney briefed Bond on the preliminary investigation. Authorities took samples for testing. Police Chief George Turner asked the GBI to expedite its lab process to check for alcohol. Now, Chief George Turner reviewed that GBI file this afternoon. I was able to speak to him briefly. What was in that open container? My sources indicate what was in there was vodka. Reporting live from downtown Atlanta at City Hall, I'm Morse Diggs, Fox 5 News.
Well, if true, that really would be disturbing. Morse, is there any sort of procedure, policy in place to make sure that city employees aren't drinking on the job?
Well, it's been very tricky for them. They have to do what's called mass random testing. That's the way that legally it is safe for them to do that without there being some kind of suspicion. When I spoke to Councilman Bond, one thing he's talked about is the fact that perhaps they've got to figure out a way to do this much more regularly, where they would go out to the field and put everybody under the test. He said perhaps even maybe weekly. Now, that can get to be expensive because they use an outside company to do that. But in the case of what we've seen here and what this tragedy that happened over the weekend, he says whatever the expense, they've got to get a handle on drinking on the job.
Yeah.
Russ?
We'll see what the blood alcohol test shows. Morse, thanks very much. Atlanta police are seeking arrest warrants against that driver. He faces charges of homicide by vehicle, driving under the influence, and failure to maintain lane.